Friday. Today is May 1st, and can't believe it's May already. Hope everybody's hanging tight during this crazy lockdown period of life, which reminds me of a social media post I caught this morning. Pretty accurate. Hope everybody's doing well. We're still here. It's been a long couple weeks. A lot of handlebar orders, fork orders, shop upgrades, a few obstacles, tool failures. You name it. About to share that with you right now. Let's go ahead and jump right into it and see what's happening with Peak Cycles. So what's been happening at Peak Cycles since the last episode? Handlebars, handlebars, handlebars. Still got about a half dozen in the queue. These are all shipping out. Meanwhile, what's going on with this? Long story. Tell you that here in a minute. Pre-gaming for the Rage handlebars at 1-inch diameter. And they will have 7/8 inch drop down at the grips and stem area. So this here is the stem area. I have the caliper set for the width of the stem. The 7/8 part here. We'll sleeve the 1-inch over it, plug weld it, miter into the upright. The upright is this piece here. As I mentioned in past videos, you start with one long piece, roll it, cut it in half, and then you got matching radiuses. And this is where it'll come out to the handle grips at 1-inch, drop down at 7/8 for standard bicycle grips. And we're about ready to get this started. As you can see, I've been quite busy, staying busy with handlebar and fork orders, trying to juggle work in between all the downtime over the past couple of weeks. And what I mean by downtime is I had the shop upgraded to 50 amp, so I had to assist with the electrical there, and we had to power down a little bit here and there, and just so hard to work around the fact that I have electricians working around me. The other thing is I had a couple tool failures, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Been anxious to start the TIG welding, and I have yet to do that, and there's a reason why. So what's going on with the TIG welding? Been a long couple weeks. Ran into a few obstacles, as well as investing into a few things there. Basically, I've been running a 30 amp with this Miller here. This new welder requires a 50 amp outlet, which I had a drop line installed. Got a 20-foot lead so I can roll around the shop as soon as I get a cart made up for it. So I had to purchase a bottle, pure argon. That wasn't cheap. And one of the things I've been reading about and seeing on YouTube videos is how loud this machine is. And I was a little concerned as I found out after the fact. But we have power now. And listen to this. Pretty damn quiet. I think Everlast has been listening to people over the years. This thing is actually quieter than my MIG. So what's the holdup? Well, this is the torch that they provide, water-cooled torch. However, I plan on using air. So as I was hooking things up, I'm like, what do I do with these water lines? Well, I read up also that you should not use a water-cooled torch without coolant. So I have since purchased an air-cooled torch, and that's what I'm waiting on. A few other things I invested in. I got the TIG fingers here. I've been reading up so you don't burn your fingers. Tungsten, which is a must. This is a sharpener, a little bit fancy. And reading people use everything from a flat disc to a bench grinder to sharpen tungsten, but this you just screw it on your Dremel, put the tungsten in and sharpen it. Good to go. Fupa cup. Reading nothing but good things about that. However, I've been also reading that it's a good idea to learn with the stock or manufactured cups before moving on to Fupa. So I'll hold off on that for a bit. That's the kit for it. Also reading up on how to keep your material clean using acetone. Cleanliness is key, from what I understand. And here we got filler rod, plenty of filler rod. So I have everything I need except a torch. Little ridiculous, but as soon as that comes in, we'll follow up on this. So there is that, and again, I did research and read up on forums of why Everlast provided a water-cooled torch. No water cooler, of course, they're not going to provide a water cooler. In their minds, it's a freebie. It's much easier to invest in and more affordable to invest in a air-cooled torch down the road than it is that water-cooled torch. And in their minds, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Had they provided a air-cooled torch for that TIG welder, people would be complaining, well, why are you giving an air-cooled torch when you have a TIG welder that's capable of water cooling? So, totally makes sense to me. Meanwhile, it's been a long road trying to invest into everything I need, get into TIG welding, but I'm patient. Speaking of patience, had a couple tool failures this week, and let's go ahead and take a look at that. I said it was a long couple weeks, and that it was, as I had a couple tool failures as well. Basically, this is the JD squared tube notcher, and I have two of them. And the reason why is because this one has been stripped out for some time in this area here, and couldn't tighten it down. So what happened? This one did the same thing. I mentioned in the past to keep these threads clean, small metal particles which can get in there and strip your threads. In this case, I use the same size tubing very often, and what it does is it puts a lot of pressure on the same threads in this area over and over and over again. These threads up here are never getting used. So one day I'm tightening it, the next thing you know, it just pops, which means it was stripped. And now it wouldn't move either way. It wouldn't come in or out. It's just stuck in there. Plus, it was really bind up. So I cut it off, was able to get it out, and I took a tap and retraced the threads inside. And with this cut off and retracing the threads, I'm back in business. I'm too lazy to try and figure something out for the other one, so I did the same thing, and I'm good to go. Yes, these tightening areas here, the length isn't as long as it used to be, but right now they're still working for me, for the size tubing that I have in here. If I ever need something longer, it'd be no big deal to make one of these, but that did hang me up for a few days as I was just going to order a whole new notcher, but JD Squared was closed. So I took it upon myself to try and fix these. We're back in business. Let's keep it moving. Not knocking JD Squared by any means. I love their tools. I own two tube notchers. However, those things are $300 a piece, and I tried contacting JD Squared, and they were closed due to COVID-19, understandably. But they don't make replacement parts for that tube notcher outside of the drive shaft, which also strips out. Parts I need, not available. They've also changed the overall design of that tube notcher. Could be why. Meanwhile, I am back on track. I know I could have hand coped, but I prefer using tube notchers. I like nice tight copings. Waiting on the torch for the TIG welder, and hopefully be back on track next week. That's pretty much gonna wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed today's version of what's happening at Peak Cycles. And until next time, make it a killer day.